So Judge Marchand has sent the jury for a brief break. And as we said, the next defense witness will be Robert Costello, someone who's been a guest on this program several times. He understands a lot of this situation very well. Jonathan Turley joins us now, constitutional law attorney and Fox News contributor. He's been inside the courthouse all day. Jonathan, what's your reaction to the news that the defense will indeed call witnesses? And they just had one witness who is one of their paralegals who studied the phone records between Cohen and Robert Costello. And now we will hear from Mr. Costello himself.
Well, I put on social media this morning from the courtroom that I thought that there was an interesting line of questions coming from the defense. It seemed to me like they were laying the foundation to call Costello, because the biggest problem with calling Costello is that there's an email which refers to Giuliani wanting to create a back channel to Cohen. And that meant that if you called Costello, that would open up that aspect of the case to the prosecutors. Many of us felt that that was not worth doing. I think they waited to see how that went on examination with Cohen. I think they felt comfortable that they could blunt that with the prosecutors. So they are going to call him. What's interesting, Martha, is that I'm one of those risk-averse defense attorneys. If I think I'm going to win a case, I'm going to stop. And I think they have won this case. The problem is that this is not an ordinary case. So my view is that even if there's a conviction, it would have to be overturned at this point. But this is a man running for president. Quite frankly, Costello is a kill shot witness. You only call him if you want a kill shot at trial, that you feel that you need to make sure this doesn't result in a conviction, even though I think it's going very well for the defense. And it went very well today for the defense.
You know, you point out this is not a typical trial. You have the former president of the United States in an unprecedented situation in a criminal trial in a New York City Supreme Court room. And, you know, if I had to guess, you know, having covered this former president for many years now, Jonathan, I would anticipate that he may have told his defense, look, I saw Bob Costello. I've seen him a bunch on TV. He's fantastic. He's going to make our point for us. You absolutely have to put him up there. Does that scenario seem plausible to you?
I think it does seem plausible. This is the ultimate counter-puncher. You can always predict Trump's move. He does not walk away from a fight, and he does not let a blow land without returning one. And this is very consistent with the president's strategy. The big issue here is that that team may be willing to take this risk, but my assumption is they're telling him, Mr. President, please don't get on that stand. Judge Marchand closed any chance of Trump testifying with that order he issued earlier. He basically is going to allow the prosecutors to get into anything that they want. And after that order, it would be an act of lunacy for Trump to get on that stand. With Costello, you got a seasoned guy. He's got the chops. You know, he used to be the deputy chief of the criminal division at the Southern District. That's right. So this is not some guy that's going to wilt under cross-examination.
No, absolutely not. And as you point out, the judge made it clear that if the former president took the stand, he would allow all kinds of things that have not been the purview that has been in this jury's understanding of situations. I would imagine Karen McDougal, like pretty much anything else, they would be able to bring in and talk about if they had the opportunity to cross-examine him. So it seems like that possibility was eliminated. And I think you're also right about the kill that they think that Costello can land, the kill blow, and we'll see if he does that. We're going to be covering we have people in there, obviously, so we'll be hearing every single thing that he says. And I can tell you what's up there right now. Trump attorney Emil Bove says that Costello will testify to rebut a pressure campaign from Trump. So we'll see what happens there. Jonathan, thank you very much.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.